Senate bill by Senator Womack, Senate Bill 8. Senate Bill 8 by Senator Womack provides for redistricting of the Louisiana Congressional districts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, I have an amendment. If I could pass out, please. If I could, I'll begin with my opening.
All right, Senator Womack, you recognize, and you may proceed, sir.
Thank you. As you know, Louisiana congressional districts must be drawn, given the Federal Voting Rights Act litigation that is still ongoing in the U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Louisiana. The map is the bill that I'm introducing, which is the product of a long, detailed process achieved several goals. First, as you know, all are aware, Congresswoman Julia Letlow, is my representative in Washington, D.C. The boundaries in this bill I'm proposing ensures that Congresswoman Letlow remains both unimpaired with any other incumbents and in a congressional district that should continue to elect a Republican to Congress for the remainder of this decade. I have great pride in the work Congresswoman Letlow has accomplished, and this map will ensure that Louisianians will continue to benefit from her presence in the halls of Congress for as long as she decides to continue to serve our great state. Second, of Louisiana's 6 congressional districts, the map in the proposed bill ensures that 4 of our safe Republican seats. Louisiana Republican presence in the United States Congress has contributed tremendously to the national discourse, and I am very proud of both Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, and U.S. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise are both from our great state. This map ensures that the 2 of them will have solidly Republican districts at home so that they can focus on the national leadership that we need in Washington, D.C. The map proposed in this bill ensures that the conservative principles retained by the majority of those in Louisiana will continue to extend past our boundaries to our nation's capital. Finally, the maps in the proposed bill respond appropriately to the ongoing Federal Voting Rights Act case in the Middle District of Louisiana. For those of you who are unaware, the congressional maps that we enacted in March 2022 have been the subject of litigation since the day the 2022 Congressional Redistricting Bill went into effect, and even before we enacted it. After a substantial amount of prolonged litigation, the Federal District Court has adhered to its view that the federal law requires that the state have 2 congressional districts with a majority of black voters. Our Secretary of State, Attorney General, and our prior legislative leadership appealed, but have yet to succeed, and we are here now because of the federal court's order that we have a first opportunity to act. The district court's order that we must have 2 majority black voting age population districts, combined with the political imperatives I just described, having largely driven the boundaries of District 2 and District 6, both of which are over 50% black voting age population. Given the state's current demographics, there is not a high enough black population in the southeast portion of Louisiana to create 2 majority black districts and to also comply with the U.S. Constitution 1 person, 1 vote requirement. That is the reason why District 2 is drawn around New Orleans Parish, while District 6 includes the black population of East Baton Rouge Parish and travels up I-49 to include black population in Shreveport. While this is a different map than the plaintiffs in the litigation have proposed, this is the only map I reviewed that accomplished the political goals I believe are important for my district, for Louisiana, and for my country. While I did not draw these boundaries myself, I carefully considered a number of different map options. I firmly submit the congressional voting boundaries represented in this bill best achieve the goal of protecting Congresswoman Letlow's seat, maintaining strong districts for Speaker Johnson and Majority Leader Scalise, ensuring 4 Republican districts, and adhering to the command of the federal court in the Middle District of Louisiana. I'll be happy to take any questions.
All right, thank you, Senator. Just a couple questions. Do you know how many parishes? Well, I tried to do a count. How many? This district here. Can you put it back up? It appears to split about 15 parishes. Senate Bill 8.
Right. It does
All
split.
right. And you were here, and you heard the testimony of Senator Price with Senate Bill 4. Senate Bill 4 split only 11 parishes, as I appreciate it. And it created 2 majority-minority districts. What was the predominant reason for you to create the 6th district the way it looks now versus just going with Senator Price's bill, which created a more compact district?
It was strictly politics drove this map because of the Speaker Johnson, Majority Leader Scalise, and my Congresswoman Julia Letlow predominantly drove this map that I was a part of.
All right, so is it safe to say that your confection of District 6 race is not the predominant factor?
No, it's not the predominant factor. It has a secondary consideration in that because that was the district that we were trying to encompass, but it wasn't the primary.
So I guess it's kind of difficult when you got a Speaker of the House. We're very fortunate in Louisiana, but when you got 2 members of your Congress that are the 2 top-ranking members of the U.S. House of Representatives, being a Speaker and a Majority Leader, you know, how much did that weigh in on your decision in drawing this map?
Well, it had a lot to weigh in. Not only that, but you have Congresswoman Letlow that sits on ag and appropriation, which is a big part of my district. So when you put them all together, that's a lot of I call it muscle that we were able to look at and put in for the state of Louisiana, for all of Louisiana.
Okay. So your minority population in District 2 is a voter registration is 52.6, and your population is 53.1, and in the 6th district it's 54.3 in registration and 56.1 in population. And this was the you know, looking at all of the issues you were dealing with, this was the best you could come up with?
Yes, sir, they perform well when you look at the performance base. When you look at the District 6, the performance of it appears to be positive for the minority district.
All right, are there any things that bring these communities together in District 6? I guess that would be considered the Red River District?
Well, you got the Red River, but you also got I-49 that goes through this district from Shreveport down to Lafayette. Follow the law of the Red River through there.
Okay. All right. Questions from members of the committee? No questions? You have some amendments you had, Senator?
I do. Did you? Y'all have the amendments?
I'm sorry. Senator Carter for a question.
Copy of the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, Senator, I did have a question before we move to the amendment. You said that both districts, you said that the district performed. You were asked a question from the chairman a minute ago about District 6 and whether or not it performs as an African-American district. You remember that question a second ago?
I do.
Same question for District 2. If I'm looking at District 2 in your map, we have a total African-American population of 53.121%. And we have the registered African-American vote for District 2 at 52.659%. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
Was any performance test conducted? I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm on. Were any performance test or analysis conducted to see how District 2 performs as an African-American majority district or not?
Democratic incumbent wins over 60% of the time in that race. Okay. I'm sorry, 60% of the vote.
Wait, I think my microphone. Can you repeat it? I'm sorry. So my
Democratic,
question, well, let me ask. So my question was, how does District 2 perform? And you just gave me a figure. What was it?
60% of the vote on the Democratic nominee.
We heard earlier when we were considering Senator Price's bill that the Legal Defense Fund had conducted an analysis of the performance of that district. They conducted multiple different elections based upon that district, and they had 100% performance rates as coming in as an African-American seat. And I guess I'm curious to know what would be the comparable number in terms of a performance of the District 2 of this particular map, the District 2 in your map that's being proposed here. You understand? Am I asking the question, or you get what I'm asking?
Yeah, I think what the senator is requesting, have you done any kind of performance test for either District 6 or District 2? Any performance analysis?
I have not.
Okay.
I have a report here printed off on a congressional map. In District 2, a Democratic candidate could win 100% of the time.
A Democratic candidate, but not necessarily an African-American African-American candidate, regardless of party. So you said a Democratic candidate.
Right.
So I'm asking about an African-American candidate. You said that a Democrat candidate performs in that district, but my question is whether or not it performs as an African-American district.
Okay. Our analysis is on party, not race. So I can't
There
answer
was
that.
no analysis done to determine whether or not District 2 for this map of your map performs as an African-American district.
No.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Carter. The board is clear. Do you have amendment, Senator?
I do. It's Amendment 34.
All right. Senator Womack brings up amendment number 34. Senator Womack on his amendments.
You want to pull that up and. It's okay for him to pull that up.
Yes, sir.
So it,
Okay, you may proceed, Senator. This is the amended, the
this is
amendment?
amendment. What we did on that, in a Boyles Parish, we took out, split of Boyles Parish, put those into, Rapides around Alexandria, Rapides Parish, and then we moved into, that's Rapides there, where we moved it to. And then we moved into Washita Parish and took Washita, West Monroe, and Calhoun into that.
Okay.
Any other? That's it.
All right, so how many parishes would, with that amendment, would the bill overall split?
It goes from 15 to 16.
Okay, so it splits one additional parish.
One extra parish.
And that would be a Vols Parish.
That would be a Boyles Parish.
All right, questions, members of the, and the percentages pretty much stay the same in the second district
Yes,
and sixth district?
and 6, yeah. The numbers are the same.
Are there questions for members of the committee? All right. I do have a card. You don't need to fill out no card, from Senator Heather Cloud. If you wish to be recognized, you please come and take it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to make a simple statement. As a Republican woman, I want to stand here, or sit here rather, and offer my support for the amendment to the map, which I believe further protects Congresswoman Julia Letlow. She is the only woman in the Louisiana's congressional district. She is a member of the Appropriations Committee in the U.S. House, as Senator Womack stated, and also a member of the Agricultural Committee in the U.S. House. It's important to me and all of the other residents of our area that to have these two representatives from our crucial region in our state. I think that politically, this map does a great job protecting Speaker Johnson and Congresswoman Julia Letlow, as well as Majority Leader Scalise. It keeps CD5 in the northern Louisiana area and allows Congresswoman Letlow to keep doing the great job that she's been doing. So I just sit here and offer my support of the amendment. Thank you, members.
Thank you. And so we can be clear, Senator, just to be, like they say on, what is it, Few Good Men, crystal clear. So this map, with this amendment, there are other ways we could perfect a second majority district that's more compact, 11 parishes split. This one splits 16 parishes. And the reason you're offering this amendment is for protecting, I hate to say, but to protect incumbents, members of Congress. But race is not your predominant reason for drawing and perfecting this map.
Mr. Chair, I have both Congresswoman Julia Letlow and Congressman Mike Johnson in my Senate, in my district. I work well with both of them, and I want them to continue to be able to do the great job that they do on behalf of all of the constituency in my district.
Okay, so basically you are attempting to comply with the federal court, but yet protect members of the U.S. Congress, be it a female and be it two of the most powerful members of the U.S. Congress.
Yes, sir.
All right, Senator Reese for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for Senator Womack. First of all, as we continue to contemplate these alternative maps, I've got to say that I continue to move forward cautiously, as I have been concerned that we may indeed be taking some action that the courts may not have necessarily directed us to take yet. We do know that there was an alternative to ultimately end up with a hearing on the merits. But I'm also conflicted in that because I know that the person charged with the responsibility of representing the decisions we make in this legislature is our Attorney General. And our Attorney General has certainly declared that she thought it was the best action for us to take at this time to contemplate a different map structure. The reason we've not done that in the past is because of the difficulty, I believe, in managing what the Voting Rights Act would ask us to do and avoiding other pitfalls in the Voting Rights Act, like gerrymandering, to ultimately come up with the districts. And so I appreciate what you're charged with trying to present here. Would you say that predominantly in the remaining districts that are not majority minority districts, that you've tried to really adhere to the continuity of representation in those districts, and it appears perhaps that you're really trying to not bust up the kind of the communities of interest, crack or split or divide those communities of interest?
Yes.
So in the 4th District, for instance, I noticed that you've kept together like our major military installations in that 4th District that kind of speaks to communities of interest that it looks like you're attempting to preserve with this map, while you still attempt to comply with the objective of the courts in terms of creating another majority minority opportunity district there.
It's exactly right.
The numbers, and we're on your amendment now, right, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
We've not adopted the amendment yet.
No, we have not. What, yes, and because if you need to want to.
Yeah, just in opposition.
Okay. Yeah, your opposition be noted for the record. There are no other cards that I see. Senator Reese have moved that the amendments be adopted. Are there any objections to the adoption of the amendments? Here are no objections. Those amendments are adopted.
Thank you, committee members and Mr. Chairman. Close on my bill.
Yes, before you do, I wanted to just show you an amendment that Bill, can you pull up? Initially, when I saw I tried to, I'm a sticker to keeping parishes together, try to make districts as compact as possible. And I had tried to put something together, and I just want to get some comments from you about it. Soon as Bill pulls it up, I want to know if this amendment would impact any of the considerations you have made in perfecting the one we just passed. Is it working? All right. I tried to keep as many parishes whole as possible in both in the whole state. But I particularly want to concentrate on the 2nd district and the 6th district. Would that satisfy your, if we were to adopt that amendment, would that interfere with your concerns about helping some of the members of Congress? Do we have the amendment prepared? Okay. Let me offer up the amendment. I want to offer up amendment, I'm gonna offer it up. Give you a quick second to look at this amendment. This amendment splits only 15 parishes. Would you have a problem with adopting this amendment?
Well, Mr. Chairman, all due respect, if we could get a few minutes to look at it, if you
Yes,
could go maybe a 10 or 15-minute recess to look at it and kind of see, I can see where I could have some issues with it on the north end, but
For example, it keeps the vols whole. And under the amendment we just adopted, it splits of oils. Sorry. Senator Miguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To save a little bit of time, if you don't mind, if you have this information readily available, if you can give us the split comparisons to the author's current version till now, and then give us some maybe the African American voting population numbers as it relates to Congressional District 2 and 6 in both, and any other notable differences in his map that's readily available. It didn't have me digging through the entire bill trying to cross up multiple papers. If you have any of that.
Yeah, the amendment actually shows the split with the senator's amendment, and it also shows the splits with the amendment we're discussing. I'm trying to show that we can create this district more compact, even trying to protect members of Congress. And I just want to know, could you be for that amendment? And if the answer is no, that's fine.
at this point, I would have to say no.
All right, I'm going to withdraw the amendment. And are there any further discussions on the bill? Oh, Senator Carter?
No. Are we doing any other amendments right now, or just the bill?
If there is an amendment, now is the time, because we're going to vote one way or the other in a few.
Give me 1 second.
Are there any further amendments on the bill?
Yeah, my amendment, don't?
Senator Carter. All right, Senator Carter, you're recognized.
Give me a second, I'm coming, looking at the numbers. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, this amendment swaps 1, 2, 3, 4 precincts between what is listed as District 2, the current Congressional District 2, and District 6. It moves approximately, I believe it's 3,000, approximately 3,000 or so voters. But what it does, though, is it increases very slightly the registered Democratic African-American vote in District 2 by increasing that number to 52.823%, which is a very slight increase. It's an increase of right around an additional 1,000 or so votes for District 2, and it barely has any implications with the new District 6. It doesn't involve, and it's my understanding from staff that it doesn't affect any other districts other than District 2 and District 6. It doesn't affect any of the other congressional districts proposed in the map.
Okay, Senator, how many additional parishes would this amendment split?
Well, it does. It was split West Baton Rouge Parish, but I believe West Baton Rouge Parish is currently in District 2, and also very slightly in Iberville Parish, there will be 1, 2, 3 parishes in those. For a very minor adjustment, but it increases the African-American population in District 2 by an additional couple of thousand votes or so.
So it splits 2 additional parishes.
Very slightly, yes.
Senator Jenkins.
No, I'm just trying to see, so where, if you picked up some votes in 2, which I don't inherently have a problem with it, but where did those votes come from?
He came from District 6. So if you look at the map that's proposed, if you look at the map that's proposed by Senator Womack, it moves precincts 1C, 1B, 8, and 6 from West Baton Rouge. And in Iberville Parish, it would move those precincts from District 2 into District 6, precincts 20, 22, and 26. So it's very, very small and minor in terms of an adjustment. Small, but very important, very significant. It increases the African-American vote in District 2 with a swap between 2 and 6.
So how much of a decrease in 6?
So with 6 will maintain a registered African-American percentage of 54.189. And then for District 2, it will be 52.823.
Okay, 6 is not contiguous with this amendment. I don't know if the author knew it or not.
I just heard from staff that there was a problem with one of the areas being not contiguous that they just pointed out to me that we didn't discuss during the recess. Perhaps that's something we could quickly adjust in the next few minutes or so.
Or we could do it on the floor.
I would prefer to handle it in committee, of course, Mr. Chair.
All right, so you're splitting two additional parishes, Senator.
And it's also my understanding that, in addition to that, it also is supposed to take into consideration the previous amendment that was inserted on from the previous amendment from Senator Womack.
All right,
So those are some technical revisions that to consider the amendment that was just passed by Senator Womack and also deal with the one issue that they just mentioned regarding the contiguous nature of it. It was supposed to take both of those things into consideration, the amendment.
okay. Senator Miguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a clarification, and you may have just addressed this. The Womack, I'll call it the amendment that Senator Cloud just testified upon and then just got onto the bill. Your new amendment doesn't contemplate those changes in the Vols Parish. You're going to have to rework that because I may have the wrong amendment. I'm looking at a Vols Parish being completely within Congressional District 6. Is that right? So you had the
Amendment would assume, it should assume that amendment was getting on, so it should not affect the previous amendment that was just passed.
You have to rework your amendment
let's-
to contemplate the change, basically? Okay. Yeah, we're not ready to really review it at this point until we can see that. The version I have is based on the original version of the bill.
Senator, have you concluded, Senator?
Yes.
Senator Klein Peter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Carter, with all due respect, I'm not in favor of this. This is from my two of my hometown parishes, growing up in Iberville and West Baton Rouge, and part of this is my old council district that we're already chopped up as it is between Senator Price and I as far as on the state level, and we're definitely going to be cutting West Baton Rouge and Iberville up. I just wanted to go on the record and voice my opinion based on this new map that has been presented to us.
Senator Miller.
Thank you. Just two quick questions. Again, what was the voting age population splits for 2 and 6 with these amendments? Your map. Voting age population. Blank.
Oh, here it is. The VAP, the African American voting age population for District 2 would be 51.132%. And the African American voting age population for District 6 would be 53.612%.
Okay. And last question, did you have any information of how these would perform?
It's my understanding it would help it better perform because it is an additional increase of African American voters. Even though it's a small amount of individuals, it's a small but significant change.
But y'all didn't run any performance tests on it?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Jenkins.
Well, I'm just trying to be sure here. I mean, I fundamentally don't have an issue. I'm just trying to see what's happening here in North Louisiana.
It shouldn't affect northern Louisiana at all. It's just a swap between 6. Sorry, I'm not on. It should not affect northern Louisiana. This is just a swap between District 2 and District 6. At the very bottom, if you're looking at Iberville and West Baton Rouge parishes, right there towards the bottom, it has no bearing or no effect on northern Louisiana.
Well, I'm looking at the configuration. I mean,
Well, I think the difference is we're looking at the configuration from the previous amendment from Senator Womack that should be incorporated into the amendment that I'm offering.
okay.
So that's a technical thing that they're fixing. It doesn't have anything to do with the swap that I am. So there was the previous amendment that was offered by Senator Womack with Senator Cloud testifying at the table that got adopted.
Okay.
This amendment doesn't undo
Doesn't
that,
undo that.
doesn't touch it whatsoever. This is just a very slight swap between District 2 and District 6.
I see that. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Senator Jenkins. All right, are there any other members who wish to be heard on the amendment?
This time, I'd like to move, provided we don't have the amendment. Can we do it in concept or no?
Senator Carter, why don't we move the bill out the way it is now? Your amendment is not ready, and you're talking about 3,000 people. You know, I hate
I know,
to-
we had the
listen,
conversation
I
earlier
hate-
about doing the hard work at committee and making certain we have amendments that we need here. I did not realize that it didn't contemplate the previous amendment that got on. It was my understanding it was supposed to. And I just heard about the issue about the contiguousness of it.
I hate to oppose one of my distinguished colleagues in committee,
Or I hope you don't.
but I do think we have an obligation to make sure that anything we do and pass is not for, race is not the predominant reason. Can you give us the reason for splitting two parishes other than race?
Well, one, I think hearing the testimony of my previous colleagues, Senator Womack and Senator Cloud, this increases the odds of District 2 performing as an African-American district. And given the importance that our congressperson has performed in District 2, I think it's very important that that district remains strengthened where it can perform as an African-American district. That is a factor, is not the predominant factor. It's also consistent with the principles outlined with the federal judge, and is also consistent with communities of interest and all the other factors that we previously considered.
So lastly, what's the predominant factor you're using to split the two parishes to add the 3,000 people?
It's very important. We talked about very earlier when this hearing started, we talked about many of the storms and hurricanes that we've had. It's very important you look at what happened in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, making certain we had congressional representation to deliver for the city of New Orleans, for not just the city of New Orleans, but for that whole area, the whole second congressional district. Similarly, during the pandemic with COVID, making certain we have congressional representation that can continue to deliver for our district.
Okay, members, you've heard the discussion by Senator Carter. The amendment can't be adopted because it's not ready. We do have other bills we have to hear. I would plead to the gentleman to let us pass the bill, and if we can perfect your amendment on the floor, we can do just that.
Well, my only concern with doing it on the floor is it opens it up to, it's important that we do the hard work in committee, I thought.
All right.
So if we can perhaps
How
give
much
staff
more
an
time?
opportunity to finalize the amendment so we can get that hopefully considered by the committee.
Well, we're going to pass over, Senator, if we could pass over your bill for now and get to the rest of these bills, because
It shouldn't take long. It's a very small, I believe it's less than 3,000 voters, so it should be easy and quick to fix.
all right, let's pass over Senator Womack. Senator Womack, do you wish for us to pass over your bill for now?
That's good.
Bill, you have it?
I think we have it fixed.
It's not quite the same. You can't have that one.
I believe we have the revised amendment, so don't go too far, Senator.
Maybe give this to JW.
Yes. Does this contemplate the previous amendment from, that got on from Senator Womack and Senator Cloud? The one that's already passed, yes, yes. Without, it doesn't undo any of the previous amendments. It maintains the revisions that was Okay, good, yes. I believe, Mr. Chairman, that the amendment is now is being finalized that solves both of those issues where
I'm sorry.
it doesn't undo the previous amendment that was offered by Senator Womack and Senator Cloud. It wasn't intended to do that. And it fixed the one part of the amendment that wasn't contiguous.
Okay, the staff is the staff ready? Staff? I'm going to lean on the gentleman one last time. Will the gentleman defer to the chair and allow us to pass it now? And we will have discussions between now and the floor. You can have discussions with the author between now and the floor.
Sounds good, Mr. Chairman.
Thank the gentleman. All right. Thank you, Senator Carter. Are there any further discussions on the bill? Senator Reese has moved that Senate Bill 8 be reported favorable, be reported as amended. Are there any objections to reporting Senate Bill 8 as amended? Hearing no objections, that bill is reported favorable.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir.
Chairman. Members.